For me, a wonderful tango embrace feels like an open window onto truth. Your truth, the truth of the other person, and the truth of that moment. It feels like you're both really present for yourselves and for each other and for whatever's going on around you. And it feels like permission to let that truth just be, whatever it is. A good dancer for me is someone who's on a journey, someone who is on an ongoing path of progressive self-awareness and growth, and someone who has the courage to bring whoever they are in that moment to the dance and be really there with me. And that takes a lot of courage. It has nothing to do with technique in the sense of, where do you put your foot? It has everything to do with, do you have the bravery to really be here right now? And that said, I think both leaders and followers could both do better to listen more to the follower. For me, a bad dancer is someone who lacks compassion. I would say for other people, but by now I've known a lot of people who have treated me and other people badly, and in the end it always ends up being because they lacked compassion for themselves. So a bad dancer is someone who lacks compassion for themselves and therefore for others, and also someone who is not honest with themselves, because in order to be honest with me, you have to be honest with yourself first. If you're not, nothing else can happen, and we can't dance together. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of bravery. But when I started dancing, an old milonguero once told me, Jordana, ballroom is for boys. Tango is for men. And this is what he means. It takes a lot of huevos to show up and really be who you really are and be present in one moment with someone else and with yourself. I think that cabeceo gets unfortunately misunderstood a lot in the United States, which is a pity, because in my mind, a really good cabeceo is like the perfect tanda. Like, you should be able to do a whole tanda just with that one look, and it would just be like amazing. The cabeceo is the end of one chase and the start of the next one, because the cabeceo, it really starts the minute you walk into a milonga, because you know where everyone is that you want to dance with, and you've seen them, and you know they've seen you. And there's 1,000 tiny things that happen before an actual cabeceo, where you see somebody, maybe you know them, maybe you don't know them, and you kind of chase them all night in subtle ways. And then finally, the woman decides. The woman always decides. Tango is the same as everything else in life. Women actually run the show, but then they like to let men think that they're in charge of things. If I decide I'm going to dance with you, I am the one who creates the chance for you to cabeceo with my own cabeceo. I think, okay, we are going to dance this tanda, and then I give you the opportunity to look back at me. I think too many women complain, oh, I have to wait until a man, and yet no, the woman always decides. And then, once I have decided I'm going to dance with you, I don't make it too easy, but I make it easy enough so that if you already want to dance with me, you will answer my cabeceo. And the cabeceo itself, it's the most beautiful conversation, and it has in it the entire history of men and women. It's all about chase and challenge, confession, admission, truth. It's like a knife fight. It's like a flirt. It's everything, all in one tiny instant. And then you get to dance. Living in Buenos Aires, you have to be a lot more connected with the present moment than you do in the United States. you literally have to be physically connected with where you are, because, for instance, just walking down the sidewalk, you could break your neck. I mean, the sidewalks are in terrible shape. You have to have, someone once said, you have to have the agility of a cat just to make it down the street, and it's true. You have to really be where you are all the time, just out of necessity. And it translates into people being where they are and connected to their bodies on a grander scale, and that makes for wonderful dancing. But also in Buenos Aires, people are really used to things not going well. They're used to life being really hard, and they're used to things not working out. They're used to a government that doesn't take good care of them, and because of this, I have a wonderful sense of community. There's really a warm feeling of authenticity and reality, and of people looking out for each other, because they have to, because they know that no one else will. And there's a really deep-seated cultural understanding there that life often is not under our control, which is very different from the United States attitude of, oh, well, I can do anything, and if it doesn't work out, it's my fault, and I just have to work harder. In Argentina, they understand that often things don't work out. And that ability to let go also makes for great dancing. And the fact that so often life is so full of hardship down there means that whenever anything goes right, they really enjoy it. And that's also very important for dancing. Plus, they know how to embrace a woman, and that matters too. I have 1,000 favorite orchestras, because I'm always changing, and how I hear the music is always changing as my dance grows. I think I used to just say my favorite orchestra was anything that really connected me with my roots, that I felt was someone who was playing from their roots. But now it's more important to me, like, you have to have that, but on top of that, it has to be an orchestra that makes me feel all of my chakras in turn. For me, a perfect milonga is a beautiful thing, and I've been to a couple in my life. What makes a milonga perfect is the feeling that the whole community is dancing together. And if you go to Buenos Aires, there is a wonderful feeling of every pareja is actually dancing with the whole rest of the community all at once. That we're all doing this together. And I love a milonga where I go and I feel like it's a party. And that we go to see our friends and our loved ones, and the dancing just arises spontaneously out of that. I love a milonga where the music has a beautiful arc, like a symphony or a beautiful dinner, but is also very responsive to the changing moods of the dancers. And I love a milonga where everything is very clear, which is hard to do in tango. But if everyone respects the códigos and is able to communicate clearly, then we can all have a much better time. I started tango because I was looking for a mental challenge. I'm probably the only person I know who has never seen Forever Tango. And when I started, I had never seen any fancy YouTube videos or anything. But I had been a competitive martial artist, and one day I went to the symphony and they were doing Astor Piazzolla, and there was tango dancing down in the lobby. And I thought, oh my god, that looks really hard, and like something I would never be able to do. I'm gonna try it. And then I started teaching because it's just a logical progression in the ongoing process of learning, and because I really love connecting people with themselves, and I have a lot to share, and I see ways I can help, and I get a kick out of helping. But I think a more interesting question is not why did I start, but why did I continue? Because since beginning tango, all kinds of things have happened to me. Heartbreak, abandonment, betrayal, poverty, horrible injuries, debilitating pain. I lost pretty much everything I had. I started new life. Tango has seen me through a lot, and I have grown and changed and become much more who I really am. And I think the reason I've always kept dancing is because it helps me become who I need to be.